Welcome back to Retro Bucky. Today we're going to take a look at 3 Indiana Jones games. We're going to take a look at Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, and we're going to check out Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventures. So without further ado, let's roll the intro and then get into the gameplay.
I gave you my heart.
Alright guys, let's start off with the Last Crusade and check out the gameplay. The gameplay and how you move and how you attack reminds me of the Game Boy game. And if you ever played the Game Boy version of Indiana Jones, you'd probably be begging for this version because that game's a lot worse. But it just has that feel of like a Game Boy Color. Considering this game came out in 1991, the same year as the launch of the Super Nintendo, I would have expected more out of this. But it's let me down. It just makes me feel like I'm playing a Game Boy game instead of an action adventure. The music itself doesn't help its case because it really feels and sounds like you're listening to a music meant for the Game Boy. I guess at least they did get some kind of rights to be able to use the Indiana Jones theme song, so that is a plus. I mean, they could have just gave us some kind of generic sounding music to go with this game. So, rushing through the level because you're facing 2 clocks. You're facing one that's invisible for your torch. You gotta collect torches or your torchlight will go out and you have to find one. And you're also facing a timer. And once that timer reaches 0, you die and have to start over. You can find an hourglass, but it's not easy to come by. Usually it seems like it's more like a checkpoint. You know that you're at a checkpoint and going the right way if you find the timer. Otherwise, you're screwed. Well, we got some life here. Try to climb up this rope. It's almost a pain just to get up these ropes. And my torch goes out. Great, now I gotta find a new torch. Luckily, there's another torch nearby, close to a cross I have to collect. But none of that matters because my timer is gonna run out anyways. And I have to start all over. Not to mention, it's almost too easy to die in this game. Guys, now we're going to check out Temple of Doom. If you ever read the Nintendo Power magazine, which you probably haven't, there was a nice little summary written about it that made this game sound promising. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look at that. Experience all the roller coaster thrills of the movie packed into an NES game pack. Where? In my hat, maybe. The graphics and gameplay is almost identical to the 2001 Game Boy Color game. If you don't believe me, look up the Game Boy Color game. It's almost identical except for the fact that the Game Boy probably has better graphics in comparison. And it's definitely one of those where the hell do you go games. I have no clue what I'm supposed to do. I don't know why I'm collecting these strange looking guys in these caves and why there's so many items. And I finally get to a railroad station and I don't even know what the hell I'm doing here except going to the other side of the cave just to pop out back where I was. Eventually I figure out that you have to go through doors. Wait, is he out of breath? He's panting like he's out of breath. Are you kidding me? You mean they had enough skill to animate him being out of breath, but they couldn't make this game look any better? Eventually I found the door like I was saying and I go to the next side of the cave, which this is also where I experienced my first fighting. And where I also discover how sucky the linear action is because you just keep falling straight down. The visuals is completely chaotic and the gameplay makes no sense. With that out of the way, let's switch over to the SNES and check out The Greatest Adventures. Now this is what I'm talking about. This is an adventure game. This is everything Indiana Jones represents. All 3 games in one. It's amazing. And it follows the storyline, even though it takes some liberties for the gameplay, but it follows the storyline. And everything you kill blows up. How much cooler could you get? And you still swing around on your whip. I mean, it is amazing. This game is amazing. Who knew that when you're searching for an Indiana Jones game, your gem was sitting with the Super Nintendo? And like I said, The Last Crusade came out during the same year as the release of the Super Nintendo. So who would have thought to even give this game a try after the 2 garbage that they released on the NES? We barrel rode. We just freaking barrel rode. Are you kidding me? We found the Golden Isle. Can it be? Yes! We actually got to run away from a giant boulder. This is so intense, and you gotta keep jumping or you're gonna get hit by some of the obstacles and slow you down. So jumping repetitively is your best bet to avoid those obstacles. But how cool is that? We actually have the boulder. How do you move a crate, you ask? We punch it, of course. Punch it. Punch it. This game is actually comprised of 3 movies in one. You got to complete each movie before you can go on to the next. And it's really awesome and adventurous and very interactive. Like swinging from your whip. Running through a burning building. Or how about running through Shanghai in a ballroom trying to dodge a madman trying to kill you with a gun. Next, we're running through Shanghai streets, bouncing across the canopies and climbing the buildings. It's like one giant maze you have to fight through and try to figure out how to get past. And nothing is completely clear, and a lot of the stuff that I found was by chance. How about snow sledding for an adventure? Dodging trees and rocks and jumping over big giant holes in the ground. This part of the game is intense. It's very fast paced, and the controls are a little bit sticky and kind of hard to work with. But once you get the hang of it, you'll find this part of the game very intricate and pretty intense and challenging. And if this doesn't fill your adventure tank, then how about fire? Fighting through a hellish maze of bats, enemies, fire, traps, and trickery. Some moments of this game is definitely a where the hell do you go moment, but the challenge and the adventure was worth it. Well guys, thanks for watching. Until next time, stay home, stay safe, and play games. Catch you later.
I give you my heart.